BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi.
Good morning, everybody. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. It's Sunday. It's normally a bit of a lame day, to be honest, especially as we get closer and closer to the end of a Sunday, where whatever happens, I often see just get sold off because traditional markets open on a Monday, don't they? You don't want to be overexposed to anything. When the big boys come back, these little crypto coins cannot cope. Right, so let's get stuck in straight away. There's no point beating around the bush. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, which is basically on a 4-hourly. We can see this really relatively over and over again retested version of a support. You know the drill, though. The more times you touch a support, the more likely it is to break. We have touched it so many times. 60,600. 60,600. I don't know what the big deal is about 60,600, but it's there. It exists, and it's being pushed down in a descending triangle formation by the 10 exponential on the 4-hourly. So that's, you know, if you want to call it it is a descending triangle formation, just using moving averages and supports. So it's more likely to break down with a formation like that, and with the trajectory on this 10 exponential, I would imagine that this being a 4-hourly is going to break today. So it looks like we're going to get a breakdown today on this one, and a breakdown is likely to take us probably below 60,000, 59,000 I would imagine. If it goes lower than that, then it will probably sink way lower than this. It doesn't mean it'll happen today, just I have to say that. Some people might think that by me saying it might end up at that price, it might happen all in one go, all today. That's not what I'm talking about. So I know most of my subscribers, most of my viewers are subscribers, which is good because it means that if you subscribe to it, you know you like it, and if you haven't subscribed, you should. But some people who are probably just tuning in for the first time, I'm mixing in lots of different time frames. So the 4-hourly does look like it wants to break down. It can break down to any one of these areas down here, you know, just dipping its toes below 60. 60 is a psychological number. Noob Master likes that. He'll have a bit of that. But if that can't hold, it will come down into 59,000s and probably just bordering the 59,000 to just below that, really. And if we get that, and to be honest with you, it kind of looks like we're already about to receive it. We're having a short signal getting generated on this Ichimoku cloud. We're just waiting for this Chiku span to close below the cloud. Every other compartment of this setup is valid. So for those who don't know the Ichi cloud, one of the main ways to play it would be leading portion is red, which is one step. Conversion baseline cross, a -1, which took place way back over here. Price action has to be below the cloud, and then finally the Chiku span has to be below the cloud. So those 4 things together, not one individual thing, because those 4 things, when they combined together, they generate a short signal, and the short signal will take you down to this next major level of support, which I believe is going to be 59,000, which sounds like a lot, but when you measure it out, it's only a tiny 3% pullback. I mean, that's the sort of thing that you get to see on any major tech stock on any day at any point. So it's not a big deal. It's really nothing. And I've made the case here before this year. So when the bear market was confirmed, 2023 basically, I bought Bitcoins, I bought Meta, and Meta outperformed Bitcoin. Meta did a 500% rally from its low. Bitcoin from its absolute low, which again, I didn't buy the absolute low, but from its absolute low only did 350%, or just a little bit more. So Facebook, Meta, outperformed Bitcoin. What the heck? So really, at this point, I'd probably go as far as to say that, yeah, Bitcoin's fine to buy. It's robust. It's relatively stable, and I know everyone's going to flip out when I say that. Look, when in doubt, zoom out. It is relatively stable. When you buy it and you hold it, it works out. You know, I bought 4,000, I bought 21,000. You know, they're the last times I bought Bitcoin, and I still hold the majority of both of those. I sold about 30%, maybe a little bit more, around 50,000, and dollar cost averaged in on the way down, and here we are again, all the way back up. So I mean, it's a cool trade. But it's not the most profitable thing you've ever done in your life. No, not at this point. It has been previously, it's not really now. Not when stocks outperform it. And I'm talking boring stocks too, you know. Meta. I bought Meta for my pension because I thought, well, it's dumped massively. It's not going anywhere. They're branching out into other areas. It seems like a relatively safe bet. I had no idea that it would outperform Bitcoin. Why would you? But it did. And so is that because Meta's awesome, or is it because Bitcoin is lame? I'm not sure yet. I wouldn't say Bitcoin is lame, but you know what I'm talking about. It's not the be-all and end-all. Right, so yeah, we've established that if we lose this area, 59,000's on the cards, and it's not sensational, that's only 3%. It's tiny, it's nothing. And we'd have a short signal to back that up. Now, whether we hold this area again is a different story. We can look at momentum, there is none. It's just consolidating like everything else. The MACD is no positive cross, a little bit of divergence, but no, nothing serious, nothing special. We'll take it to a 1 hourly if you really like, and what we see is we've made a positive cross, we're ticking up on the histogram, but we're losing steam already below the 0 point, and we're below all moving averages too on the 1 hourly. So it does look like, to be honest with you, it does look like this wants to break down today. And again, when I say breakdown, I'm talking $59,000, 3%. That's all I'm talking about. Obviously, altcoins will emphasize that, and that's fine because, you know, I was talking yesterday about potential alts season, which is a bit of a trigger word for a lot of people. I understand that. Let's get rid of all this. And I was only really thinking about Ethereum because Ethereum is what I'll be buying. And it's not because I'm buying it because I'm expecting enormous moves from Ethereum. I'm buying it simply because I'm going to set up some altcoin bots with Ethereum as the leading currency on those bots. And same as yesterday, looking at this on the daily, we've got 200 simple, 200 exponential. These are areas on the chart where if you were going to get a V-shaped recovery, it would be these. So we've established Bitcoin can pull back by 3%, Ethereum between 4 and 7%. Is that a big deal? No, it's not. It's not. The only problem with all of this is that Ethereum will likely close. Well, I mean, it definitely will close if it goes down there, but if it's looking like it, regardless, it's likely going to close its weekly below the 20 weekly, which actually then puts the higher term timeframes in favor of more bearish moves. So, again, I'm not under any, I'm not delusional thinking that this is a V-shaped recovery area. Technically, it is. It's more likely to offer a V-shaped recovery statistically, but because Ethereum is very much tied into Bitcoin's price, and if Bitcoin's price comes down and then continues to go down, then yeah, the technicals on Ethereum might not correspond to anything that presents itself in reality. You know what I mean? If this, let's just imagine that this Ethereum chart was the only chart in the world. There was no other charts, nothing, no gold, no Forex, no Bitcoin, no nothing. It was only this. And there was no external influence from any other charts, basically Bitcoin, stocks, Forex, you know. Then you would look at this and go, well, you know, this consolidation is coming down to a very nice area. I would definitely go harder at this area down here for the chances of it turning into a V-shaped recovery, which it happens more often than not. But because it's not the only chart in the world, and it is correlated to Bitcoin's price, which is correlated to stock price, which is correlated to Forex, it would be naive to imagine that this is the one and only support that holds, that takes you up to 4, 5, 8, 10,000. It would be naive to believe that, but it's still worth a shot. That's what trading is, taking some risk. And we measured it all out yesterday, and if it does end up at the previous all-time high, even this entry being your first dollar cost average entry would yield about 75%, which again, I'm not going to complain about 75%. In real life, that's a lot of percent. Yeah, I know it's not what you want, but that's what you're going to get. If you want more, trade Meta. Well, should I say go back in time and buy Meta and trade that? You know. So we've established one thing, which is down, really. Probably today, maybe this afternoon, this evening. Other than that, there's nothing much more to say. There really is nothing else to say. No, there's nothing to say. I mean, Ethereum already had its short set up, which has probably played... No, I don't think it has. This rejection took place before the closure down here. So there's a short signal on Ethereum too, which makes it look very nice for hitting these areas. Right, there's nothing else I can say about this chart or Bitcoin's chart. I think the best thing to do is to go out and enjoy the weather, if the weather's enjoyable at all. And if it's not, do something else. There's nothing to see here other than expecting further downside. But I'm not a massive super perma bear. Like, if we do hit these areas, that could be reversal. It could. It might not be, but it could. Nobody knows. All I know is that the trend is down. The trend is about to strengthen to the down for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we should expect further down. And of course, a real trader would plot out areas on the chart that might go way out of the realms of possibility, like me saying 50,000 could happen, maybe 30,000 could happen. And that's okay to say that and think that, not to sit around and expect that. So I'm not going to sit here and go, well, I'm not buying Bitcoin again until it hits 30,000. See you later. No, that's crazy. A real trader has to sit and look at the charts because they change all the time. Because it's a constantly evolving situation with all kinds of things. Not just its own chart and its own momentum, but the charts that run behind it. Dixie, stocks, gold, Forex, Rebate. All of these things, they're always changing, which means you can't have one particular bias forever. You just can't. But that's what it looks like to me. Looks like we're about to break this descending triangle to the down, and then we'll monitor it to see if it's worthy of a reversal area, because it could. That could be it. It could be the lower high that you've been waiting for. Because this didn't particularly correspond to a great deal on the daily, or the 4 hourly. It was a weekly, and we're still above it. So if we do come down to revisit that low, 56,000, 57,000, again, you can easily see that dip get bought, and that could be the reversal. So I'm not going to tell you that this is where we're heading, 200 simple, 200 exponential between 31 and 35. I'm not going to say that that's really going to happen, but in the back of my head, it's possible that it could. And if it does, I want to be able to take advantage of that. But I'm not sitting here telling you, Bitcoin's going to 32,000, because that's not what I think, although there's a possibility of it. It's very, very small possibility, but it is a possibility. So in the back of my head, I'll be thinking, well, it could happen. But until then, we're bullish above here, 57,000, I'd say. And if we hit that area, probably this time we'll take a scalpy long on that one to see if it works out, because the odds are that it would work out. But if it breaks here, then yeah, then it's at that point where not just me, but other YouTubers will be saying, 50,000's coming. You know what's coming next? 32,000. Or probably more likely 35,000. Anyway, maybe I'll use that as clickbait, just to attract some trolls to help with the algorithm. Because I think that helps, I'm not sure. I remember I used to like watching Vice documentaries, right? Because they made some good content, visual content. Vice made good documentaries. But their articles that they used to write were just ridiculous, right? I used to read them and go, oh my God, is this real? Oh my God, it would make me so angry that somebody could think like that somebody was on another planet, to the extent where they would project this madness in an article to the world. And then you'd look at the comments and it was just comment after comment after comment going, what are you talking about? You're crazy. This is crazy. Blah, 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 blah. And then it took a little while for me to think about it, and I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. They don't actually think this. They don't actually think what they're talking about. They can't do. This is just a way for them to engage or get engagement, even if it's pure negative, which it pretty much was. You'd have some ultra woke people that agreed with everything they said, but the majority of people would be like, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And even me, I would hold back from saying stuff. So like, oh, it's not worth the hassle, but you really wanted to say something. Clever. Maybe I'll start doing that. Maybe I'll set up a new YouTube channel where all I do is probe for engagement and saying anything and everything. It just makes people angry and upset. Because you know what? There's a strategy in there. There is a strategy in there. I prefer truth, to be honest. I prefer truth and transparency, and obviously, just to reiterate my thoughts on the market, as I am a profitable trader. That's right, I've downloaded Command & Conquer General 0 Hour. I don't care. But yeah, I prefer the truth over hopium. Yeah, hopium that has a place when you're in a big hodl position, whatever, but hopium right now, no, reality's better. And actually reality isn't all that bad. Reality is actually quite cool. Reality is better because reality results in profit most of the time. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you, and have a nice weekend. Take it easy.